Hey comic lovers, EMoney and the old man back with you again with Thor the Dog of Thunder. Hey boy, how are you? You good? Thor is really good because he had a big week this week, didn't he? Or last week, I guess. So on Monday he had one of his in-home classes, and him and his brother Jax had some lessons that we did out in the backyard. Thor was just sitting there doing nothing a lot of the time because Thor, he caught on really quick, and it took his brother Jax a little while to get it. So Thor and I were just kind of chilling in the backyard for a while, weren't we, buddy? And then on Thursday, Thor had a big adventure. He went to go meet forest giants in Bernheim. And he and I, we hiked the trail and we met 3 forest giants. And Thor had a great time. And everybody was saying, you know, what a handsome boy he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's afraid of ducks.
Yeah, he had an encounter with ducks.
Ducks, of all things.
Yeah, he had never seen ducks before, so we come up on this pedestrian bridge we have to get across, and there were some ducks hanging around, and Thor saw them, and he's like, "Hey, what are these things?" And he's like, getting close, sniffing them, and then one of the ducks, nearby, he did a spreading his wings and stretching his wings out thing. Thor leapt. He jumped back behind me. Yeah.
Ducks are food.
Yeah. So he brought a little shame to our family then, didn't you? Didn't you, boy? Yeah.
He ain't gonna admit to it.
All right. So today we are talking about comic book, movie, and TV projects that almost happened. And I've already
did it again?
Yeah.
All right.
I've already given you 12, so I'm going to give you 6 more this week. So somebody thought they were a good idea, and then when they were probably further into pre-production than they should have been, someone decided, what the heck are we doing? Let's pull the plug. All right, so stay tuned for that, and then we have our comics grading from last week and previews for this week, and then I have a brand new, I'm going to do a Movieism this week. All right, so this summer, the old man and I are going back to the movies. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. All right, so 6 comic book, movie, and TV projects that almost happened. I got 6 brand new ones for you here today. So let's get things started. Number 1, Aronofsky's Batman Year One.
Who the hell's Aronofsky?
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second. He and I have a past. Darren Aronofsky teamed up with Frank Miller, director Aronofsky, teamed up with Frank Miller a few years before Christopher Nolan launched his Dark Knight trilogy, trying to bring the story of Batman's origins to life. Now, as you may recall, the Batman franchise was kind of in shambles at this time, with Warner Brothers still trying to shake off the shame of Batman and Robin. Now, it's amazing how many times Batman and Robin play some part in these failed projects and, played a part in why they didn't happen. I mean, I think it's been at least 3 or 4 now.
At least.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Aronofsky wanted to give this new Batman a hard R rating. And
I'm all for it.
And wanted to make Tim Burton's Batman look like a cartoon by comparison.
Sweet.
In this version, we would see the evolution of the Batsuit, starting with a simple ski mask and black clothes, and the first Batmobile being a tricked-out Lincoln Continental. Aronofsky even had Joaquin Phoenix in line to play Batman.
Ain't that kind of weird?
Mm-hmm. But the studio wasn't ready to leave the comfy confines of the PG-13 rating and the, extra ticket sales that come with it, and passed on the project. Now, what is my history with Aronofsky? Well, as a director, I absolutely loathe him. Why, you ask?
Yeah. What did he do to you?
He had me sit through Requiem for a Dream. That's what he did. People, I looked at all these movie lists, critics, listing off the greatest movies of all time. And if on a few of them, Requiem for a Dream comes up, like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I hate this movie with a fiery passion.
This might make you mad. I've never seen it.
Well, good. No, that doesn't make me mad. That's me happy for you. Good for you. I mean, at best, you should like show this to recovering drug addicts, and try to get this as a way for them to turn away from drugs. Like, hey, you keep doing what you're doing, this is what's going to happen to you. At best, for the average moviegoer without any drug problems, you should never watch this movie. So don't do it. And none of his other movies have been that great as far as I'm concerned either. Like Pie, like didn't care much for that one either. But I will never forgive him for Requiem for a Dream. Ugh. All right,
number 2.
All right, there's my vent. All right, number 2, the Wachowskis Plastic Man.
Really?
Yeah. Years before the breakout hit of The Matrix, the Wachowskis were tasked with putting a script together for DC's Plastic Man in the late 90s. Now, old man, what is the worst thing that a writer can do when you're adapting a comic book into a movie script?
Well, you said adapt a comic book. That means you have to read the comic book and use your source material.
Okay, so pretty close to what I was about to say. Throw out the source material. All right, so anyone who knows Plastic Man, you know that he's a comedian type, and isn't he an investigator, or am I thinking of Elongated Man?
I think you're thinking Elongated Man.
Okay.
Plastic Man is pretty much a goof.
Okay, he's a comedian, he's a goofball, the comic relief of the Justice League at times. Well, and also, only a handful of people know who Plastic Man was before before they were going to adapt him into a movie.
He was a bigger thing in the Golden Age, but once the Silver Age got here, he pretty much disappeared.
I mean, if you throw out the source material, you're isolating the people who are fans from the get-go, right?
Yep.
Well, that's what they were planning on doing. So the Wachowskis tossed out all the source material, and they made Plastic Man out to be a gritty revenge story about a man seeking vengeance for the corporation who experimented on him.
I mean, you really couldn't even do that with the Elongated Man.
Mm-hmm. Well, those who read the script said it was more like Sam Raimi's Dark Man than anything you would read in a Plastic Man comic book.
That ain't Plastic Man.
Mm-mm. Well, the film got put on the back burner once the Wachowskis' The Matrix got traction. And so they did the whole Matrix trilogy for a few years. And then they tried to put it back together in 2008. They even had Keanu Reeves in mind to play Plastic Man.
I mean, if you're going to do a dark Plastic Man, it makes more sense. But,
I mean, not that Keanu doesn't have, comedy chops as well.
He does.
Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, if you were going to do this as a revenge story, Keanu makes more sense. But, the whole project didn't make sense anyways.
Pick one of any 1,000 other DC characters to use, but not Plastic Man.
Mm-hmm. Well, the project got stalled to get in 2008, and it's been on the back burner ever since.
I think it's going to stay.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. All right, so next project, Green Arrow Escape from Supermax. Now, before Green Arrow helped launch the CW Arrowverse, he was almost featured on the big screen a few years earlier. The script was written by David S. Goyer, who wrote the script for Man of Steel, and would feature Green Arrow as he's framed for the murder of a government official and tossed into Supermax prison with several of the baddies he helped put away.
Sounds like they're skipping the whole origin.
Yeah, just kind of jumping right in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Batman of the DCEU got tossed into the middle, or the back end of his career. So, maybe they were just expecting everyone to know what was up when the film got going.
I guess.
All right, so this being 2008, just when the MCU was getting started and superhero movies weren't the biggest thing in the world just yet, Warner Brothers didn't want to take a chance on a mid-level superhero.
I mean, I get that.
Mm-hmm. But, now that the Green Arrow is done with his run on the CW, and now studios are greenlighting projects with heroes that were previously little known, like Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy, this is one project that might still happen down the road. You know, we still haven't seen any sign of Oliver Queen or Green Arrow in the DCEU, so, you know, maybe, you know, that's somewhere in the future. If
I mean, is DC afraid of doing it because of Hawkeye? They don't want to seem like copycats?
I mean,
Maybe.
possibly, but I mean, they're two very different characters other than, you know, their weapon of choice.
Right.
But, so there you have it. All right, so number 4, David Hayter's Black Widow. Well, years before Scarlett Johansson made her MCU debut as Black Widow in Iron Man 2, X-Men writer David Hayter was attached to a project that would set Black Widow in the backdrop of Soviet Russia under the threat of nuclear war. So what happened? Well, poor timing by a very bad director by the name of Uwe Boll. And there's different versions of how to pronounce his name. I went to a forum and everybody had a different idea of how you pronounce it. But anyways, often regarded as the worst director of all time, Uwe Boll has directed several video game to movie adaptations that, you know, video game movies have a bad reputation as it is, but if you were to rank them, most of his movies are at the bottom of the list.
Ouch.
So he directed a video game to movie adaptation called Blood Rain that had a, you know, female lead in it as well. And then there were other movies such as Ultraviolet and Aeon Flux with female superhero leads. So after these 3 movies all underperformed at the box office, studio executive lost faith in another comic book female-led project. And the project got quietly scrapped. All right, so there's David Hayter's Black Widow. All right, number 5. ABC's Damage Control.
Oh.
Yeah. So some people may recall a short-lived comedy series set in the DC universe called Powerless.
Your what's the Alien TV show now?
Resident Alien.
Resident Alien. Alan Tudyk from Resident Alien was in Powerless.
Mm-hmm. And it follows an insurance company that specializes in damage caused by superheroes and supervillains. Well, in 2015, Marvel had an idea for a comedy series with a similar premise, Damage Control, about the overworked, underpaid crew who clean up messes caused by superhero and supervillain throwdowns. The series would be led creatively by Ben Carlin of The Daily Show and The Colbert Report. But after that brief announcement in 2015, there weren't any further updates about the project. It had become clear that aside from a short appearance at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming after the incident, the New York invasion, it became clear that the project had been quietly scrapped.
Well, let me tell you, there was 2 Damage Control 4-issue miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're relying on the source material to make a good movie, it ain't going to happen.
Well, this would have been a TV series.
I'm saying, you got nothing to work with.
Yep. Well, my problem with these kinds of projects is you have something that's, you know, set in a superhero universe like, you know, Powerless or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where it's like, you know, you talk about the superheroes and you mention them, but you don't ever actually see them. And if you do see some superhero or supervillain, it's some, you know, D-lister that very few people have ever heard of. Like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the first season, there was Deadlock. Like, you know, not good enough for a movie, but hey, let's throw him a bone and put him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Should have been a good character.
Mm. And in Powerless, I think I remember in the first episode, the girl, Vanessa Hudgens' character, you know, she sees some, like, Red Scarlet character. Is that a DC character? Yeah, I never heard of her. So, you know, they just throw that one in there. I think they just made her up, even though we're supposed to be in the DC universe. So that's my problem with these series. It's just like the comic book series crossover. It's from Image Comics, but they say how, you know, all these different characters from comic books are all thrown into the real world. And, you know, they make mention of like Superman and Doctor Strange and other characters, but other than them talking about it, or you get like a big panel of all these different characters fighting each other. You see like, you know, their silhouettes like right in the corner of the page here, but you don't actually see them.
Oh, they had Madman.
Yeah, Madman. Yeah.
Wait a minute, he's an Image character.
Yeah. And, you know, last issue they had Hit Girl, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, then them teasing these other characters that we're never going to see, it kind of hurts.
You know, I don't care. The comic book is still a good comic book.
It is good. All right, so brings us to number 6. Del Toro's Justice League Dark.
Well, I mean, that just makes sense. Del Toro, Justice League Dark.
Yep.
I get that.
It's pretty safe to say that DCEU's success has been more miss than hit. The general consensus is that Wonder Woman and maybe Aquaman are the only shining gems of DCEU's projects.
Wonder Woman 1 and Aquaman.
Yes, not 84.
I wasn't a fan of the second Wonder Woman.
No. But at one point, Warner Brothers had plans to introduce a supernatural version of the Justice League in Justice League Dark. The lineup would include Deadman, Zatanna, John Constantine, and Swamp Thing, DC's more horror-centric characters.
They can't do that show without John Constantine. And if Matt Ryan doesn't play Constantine, I ain't going to see it. I'm going to boycott that son guy.
Yeah, no offense to Keanu, but, you know, Matt Ryan is Constantine.
He's doing a great job. Keep it up, man. Don't let him take it away from you. Fight for it.
Just like you did when the show got canceled.
The show was good.
Yep. Well, naturally, Guillermo del Toro was set to write and direct the project.
Amen.
Yeah. But he dropped out after the film got delayed, and he set out to focus on other projects.
You come back.
Yeah.
Come on back.
I mean, no plans are currently in place, but if DC has any sense, they will beg Del Toro to come back, throw whatever money at him they have to, and get him to get this project off the ground.
If you're going to throw these characters into the same movie, let's face it, Swamp Thing without Del Toro?
Yeah.
Why?
That would be a crying shame.
Why?
All right, so there you have it. Del Toro's Justice League Dark, another project that almost happened, and you know we're still kind of hoping it does.
Of all the ones you've talked about, this is, I think, the one I would most like to see made as long as Del Toro does it.
Yep. All right, so there's our projects that almost happened. Now on to today's comic reviews. So what do we got?
All right. As usual, there were some ties involved. So the first 2 places tied, and 3 and 4 tied. So EMoney and I sat down and we said, well, we'll arm wrestle for it to decide who's going to be number 3 and 4. Well, he won, so he got to pick which one was 3 and which one was 4. So, number 4 at 4 Shields from Image Comics, Geiger number 2.
All right, so this is a post-apocalyptic story about a guy who, you know, in typical comic book fashion, gets superpowers after being caught in a nuclear blast. And the world has been divided up into territories by different warlords. And the one that we're following right now, I mean, yeah, he's ruthless, much in the way, Joffrey Baratheon was ruthless. But I just don't see how anyone would respect him enough to make him the leader. You know, just like, you know, no one really respected Joffrey despite being king.
I just know the book has got really good art, really good storyline, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next up. We've been chasing most of the Heroes Reborn stories. Well, this is Heroes Reborn, the main comic. Number 2, we did get the Stormbreakers variant. And I want to tell you, what would you call it, like a what-if story?
Well, I don't know if it's what if, but something is very wrong in the Marvel universe. Like something's up.
Well, maybe they're not wrong. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're just different. But at any rate, I'm flipping through. I'm reading the first page. I turn to the second page, which is a double-page big splash panel, and I think I said something out loud like "Whoa," because it got my attention. Boom.
So it's sort of in the way, like sort of like WandaVision, where like everyone's carrying on like everything's fine, but you know, you, the reader, the viewer, know something's up here. So there's Heroes Reborn #2.
All right, so next is the #2 spot, which got 4.5 shields. And I think this comic has been in our top 3 or 4 every issue.
Mm-hmm.
And this is issue #5.
Yep.
So I don't know what to say about it. A book that's this solid, just issue after issue.
Mm-hmm.
Great artwork, great writing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's different. It's definitely adult-oriented.
Yep. Space Bastards #5. So the Space Bastards have a day off. And
Bad idea.
Yeah, they have congregated to a Las Vegas casino. And there is dissension in the ranks, and also there are outside sources who are looking to put the Space Bastards out of business here. So things kind of come to a head in this issue. So great issue, and also we want to give a shout out to one of our viewers, Joe Aubrey, who is one of the creators of Space Bastards. We know watches our channel, so Joe, we want to say hi and thank you for giving us such a great book. You and the rest of the creative team for Space Bastards.
Oh, hell no. Listen up. Joe, you sick, magnificent bastard. Keep it up.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah.
Do some other books.
Yeah. Keep up the great work.
Awesome.
You guys at Space Bastards, and thank you for watching. All right, so that brings us to number one.
Number one. All right. So I'm not even sure if this is a mini-series or what's going on, but Justice League Last Ride #1. Now, the old man loves his team books. Always have, probably always will. Having the interplay between the characters, especially when you got guys like Batman and Superman who don't always get along, it just makes for good storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Now, in this, we don't catch every issue of stuff, so there's some history that is being hashed out in this issue that I don't know if we missed something or, they're going to tell us what happened in flashbacks and future issues, but things are not well with the Justice League. And then another organization comes to Earth saying that they need their help with something, pretty major. I don't want to spoil
real
it.
major.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But the league needs to work together if this is going to go at all the way they hope to. So great storytelling, and the artwork is just amazing in this issue.
We both enjoy the art. Good job.
Yeah. So Justice League Last Ride #1.
All right, so that's the top 4 for this week. Now,
what's going on this week?
What's coming up? All right, so this week you got some good stuff coming. You got Daredevil #30. We've been enjoying a good ride on Daredevil.
Yep.
Fantastic Four, I think, has got a new miniseries coming out called Fantastic Four Life Story. And I haven't read a Fantastic Four book in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. You got Heroes Reborn #3. Heroes Reborn is a weekly.
Okay.
So that's
so we're going to get going with that.
Yeah. Shang-Chi's got a new #1. I didn't like the last one very much. Hopefully this one will be better.
I mean, the movie coming out, you want to, give a little love to Shang-Chi before you go see it, right?
The Comic Book World got 2 of the first appearances of Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
On the same collection. They probably have that out for sale by now. But at any rate, the 2 that we're actually looking forward to the most is a new Batman title. I know, see, like every other book is a Batman title.
It is.
There's a reason for that. Batman's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an old title, Legends of the Dark Knight. So I don't know if this is volume 2, 3, or whatever. But the artwork on the cover that we chose to pick up, for you all today, looks really awesome. Really look like kind of like, what was his name, Bowen, who did the Joker book, Joker One Shot. Can't that thing of the name, but it'll be, hey, it's right there, right there. So, at any rate, looking forward to that one, and also a book that we've been talking about. First 3 issues is Redemption #4. Get this, me and EMoney like another post-apocalyptic storyline.
Yep.
Well, this was definitely a mini-series, and this is issue 4. So they probably will start wrapping things up.
All right, so there you have our previews for this week. Go to your local comic book shop. Pick these up from last week if you haven't already. We highly recommend them, obviously. All right, so I have a movieism that I'm ready to share with you guys. So let's head back up to the garage with Thor. All right, comic lovers, back out here in the garage with Thor. And today, I have a new movieism for you. You okay, buddy? You okay, buddy?
He'll be okay in a second.
Yeah.
Now he's okay.
There you go, buddy. All right, so this week's movieism is called Power Struggle. And this is what happens, and you've seen it in movies and TV shows, where two different characters throw some sort of energy beam at each other, and the two beams meet in the middle, and then it becomes a battle over who's stronger or whose will is stronger, and to see whose beam, reaches the other guy first. And here's a few examples from movies and TV shows.
You're in over your head, Bobby. Maybe you should go back to school. You never should have left.
All right, so there you have it, a few examples of the power struggle. All right, so normally this is about the time that I say we're about done, and here's a few things we're going to be doing next week. Well, next week is going to be a little bit different because we're going to start downsizing back issues a little bit. Because, honestly, folks, it's become, a lot of work for very few views on our YouTube channel. So, I don't want to go and do that much work every week for, 15, 20 views. Sorry to those of you.
The people that are watching want to see the stupid dog.
Yeah. So, sorry to those of you who have tuned in and, enjoy what we do. But
we're still going to show you the dog.
Yeah, we're still going to show the dog. But we're not going to take on, big, long topics like we used to. We're probably going to do more. I'm going to wait for that motorcycle to pass by first. All right, so we're going to be talking about comic books for the most part from now on, and we're going to be doing our reviews, and we're going to be doing our previews for the following week. But we're probably not going to do a whole lot else. Maybe a little bit, but we're not going to be doing these 30-minute topics like we have been.
If we do a top 10 list, we'll probably just read you off the top 10 without going into deep detail like we used to.
Yeah. All right. So please keep tuning in for that for our comic previews and reviews. And we're still going to show Thor, so don't worry about that.
Stupid dog.
Scaredy cat dog, afraid of ducks. All right. So. We'll see you guys next time. Excelsior.
True believers, they're opening back up. It's time to get back to the movie theaters.